Good afternoon and welcome back to another summary of news and headlines from around the globe on the Roaming Prepper channel. I'm your host, Pete, and I appreciate you guys and girls showing up to come party with us today. As always, I try to get things that are relevant. If they're not relevant, at least they are interesting things to think about. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and if you have questions, I normally try to premiere these kind of videos with me in the chat. Sometimes because of work that does not happen. So if I just happen to miss my own premiere, please feel free to put your questions in the comments below the video after it airs, and I typically try to respond within a couple of days. Once I get busy, I sometimes fall off the grid for a good day or two. But in any case, with no further ado, let's get cracking. So, news from Ukraine. Russians take the initiative. Now, we've been hearing from both sides in this war that Ukraine's offensive is going well, the offensive is not going well, the Russians are doing better, no they're not, this guy crashed into this guy's base, this guy defected. It's really hard to understand what the hell's going on if you're not physically there. What I have been able to surmise, based on everything I'm reading, is that they've basically torn the living crap out of the western half of Ukraine and parts of the eastern half of Russia. Understand, Russia historically will get into wars for 7, 10, 15, even 20 years. They fight wars via attrition, and that's exactly what they're doing now. Now, does that leave them vulnerable to, say, China? Possibly, but will remain to be seen. In any case, it sounds like the Ukrainians have a fight on their hands. We'll see how this goes toward the end of the year. Now, part of the reason we're not hearing as much about Ukraine is because we have a nasty fight going on in the Middle East, which we've all talked about already. Netanyahu vows to defeat Hamas even if Israel has to stand firm against the world. Unfortunately, dealing with organizations like Hamas, these folks will relish violence and ugliness in combat. I think Netanyahu and his leaders have pretty much gotten to the point of realizing that the only way to deal with this situation is to basically erase Hamas from existence, and hence why the fight is getting so belligerent. We all know that Hamas was not going to hold any ground in Israel once the IDF woke up and turned around and beat them out. What is being reported is that Hamas rather wisely has put tunnels and storage facilities under humanitarian areas such as hospitals and other places, which is not the first time that's been done in warfare. As a result, the Israelis are having a bomb in a vicinity of hospitals, relief centers, stuff like that, and it results in civilian casualties. I have no doubt that Israel will win the fight as far as northern Gaza. The question is, how long will it go on before the UN freaks out? Speaking of dangerous people, the GOP issues another warning on dangerous threat from the northern border. Yeah, you heard that right. From the northern border. With all the attention in the southern border and states like Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico saying, you know what, screw this, we're going to put our own National Guard on the border, as well as civilian volunteers trying to herd the illegal immigrants. Attention has been shifting, and now they're stopping international individuals from the northern border. And when I say international, I'm not talking about Mexico and Honduras. I'm talking about Russia, Angola, and Algiers, take your pick. They're coming from other countries, some of which do not like us at all. They've been very hush-hush about the fact that a lot of these folks who are getting stopped, many of them turn out to be on the terror watch list or known affiliates of things like ISIS and Al-Qaeda. So keep an eye open in your local area. While we've all been distracted with the wars going on, the unexpected account shutdowns at major banks lead to frustration, accusations of discrimination. Now, I didn't quite understand the discrimination part, but yes, Bank of America and Citibank have reported issues with deposits, withdrawals, payments going through. Now, this was something that initially folks said was cyber attacks, but now folks are wondering if there is a larger issue. At least one creator and one analyst that I've listened to, and I cannot corroborate this, have indicated that one of the banks admitted to certain large depositors that it is an issue with the Fed, that there is a monetary system issue going on. Now, a lot of people think this is going to lead to CBDC, but honestly, if we can't even keep basic banking accounts online in a safe manner, it's going to push people toward cash because nobody's going to trust the online stuff. In any case, moving on from that, an opinion from MarketWatch: U.S. Treasury bonds are no longer safe. The bottom line is they tried to have an annual sale, if you will. They have a bidding procedure where companies or foreign entities or even investors like you and I, if you have the money, can buy bonds and various types of treasury items with the promise of returns in the future that are usually, relatively decent in the scope of the market. They've had the worst sale ever this year. Nobody wants to take on U.S. debt because they think our leaders are dumbasses and cannot manage the nation, right? Which I don't disagree with. But what that has done is put a lot of fear for normal investors are now looking at it going, no, screw that. I'm not going to buy an I bond or a T bond. You guys don't know what you're doing. That's going to hurt the economy later on. So let's keep an eye on these economic issues in the background. So there's a report, unconfirmed, from this newspaper. Is Putin turning to the Balkans? For those of you unfamiliar, that would be Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania, which are just north of Belarus and Ukraine. Now, one of them actually stands between the Russian oblast Kaliningrad and the main part of Russia. That's an old Cold War era leftover thing. But in any case, Russia may decide to connect the two by going through the other country, which is a NATO member. Personally, that would surprise me. Putin needs to finish one war before he picks another. Actually, he did pick another. He let Iran do it for him. So personally, and this is just my take, I think the Iranian war is meant to deplete NATO resources and distract us from Ukraine, because right now Ukraine is starting to struggle because we don't have enough shit to send around. Interesting. Remember, these guys play chess, not checkers. Okay, all my tinfoil hat aside, pro-Palestinian protesters shut down Grand Central Station, vandalized New York Times building. It got worse since I pulled this article. They actually had pro-Palestinian protesters pulling down the American Army and Marine Corps flags during a Veterans Day event in New York City and threw them on the ground, subsequently getting punched by a veteran, and then a fistfight broke out, which the police had to arrest multiple people. Over 300,000 protesters basically took up the main strip of London. What we're seeing is a very large uprising, it's the only way I can describe it, in various countries supporting Palestine. Ironically, a lot of the more liberal students who supported this at first are now being targeted in universities because they are gay, because they are trans, because they are Jewish. It just makes it kind of funny. In a sad way, not funny, haha. Going on to the stupidity of society, Mark Zuckerberg apparently personally rejected Meta's repeated proposals to improve teen mental health. Because Mark Zuckerberg is the devil, he wants money, he wants profit, he wants power. He gives zero shit if your kid mutilates themselves, commits suicide, or takes drugs because they're now depressed because of what they see on Instagram or Facebook, which is why I try not to be a fearmonger. I point things out, but I don't try because honestly, there's enough bullshit on the internet. And this pisses me off. I already didn't like this little thief and this shit, and now I like him even less. The fact that CNN is reporting it is just even worse, because when CNN reports on one of their own golden children, it's kind of like it's gotten so bad they don't know what to say, so they just throw it out there. Going on to the markets again, American consumers may be starting to buckle. Here are 5 warning signs spending slowdown is on the horizon. Now, I kind of think this is a redundant article, and let me explain why. We're already slowing down. Who the hell's buying new cars right now? The $40,000 decked out pickup truck is now $80,000. If you wanted a Caddy that was $80,000, guess what? They're $130,000 now. That's a freaking house. Well, it used to be a house. Now you can't afford the house either. People can't afford things. Okay, when the can of green beans went from 50 cents for the fancy bougie green beans to $1.25, it may not sound like a lot, but that is a triple increase. That's a lot of cost that's being thrown through the system, and it's hurting people. They need to stop sending stimulus and kind of even this out. So, folks, all this does is reinforce the market's going to suck going forward. We need to figure out a better way to do it, but Washington is stupid. Speaking of stupid people in Washington, the Biden administration is under fire for opening borders to food imports that could contain devastating disease. Yes, they want to import beef. We're not going to have beef here because it cows fart and they contaminate and etc. etc. So let's import the food from somewhere else where they have diseases in their cattle so we can get our animals sick. I can't even compute. If y'all could see my face right now reading this to you, it's so agitating. When I clipped this article, I just looked at it and went, they're all stupid. But you know who won't suffer? People like them and Bill Gates and the rest of these assholes, because they have private security with real guns and big walls and fancy houses, and they can eat hamburgers, just like Mr. Gates, who wants you to eat cucarachas. So remember that when that cabron tries to do something else, he wants you to eat cucarachas. Anyway, moving on. I'm done with my rant. Sorry. Okay. Be prepared. Sorry. That's my inner Puerto Rican came out. Being prepared for an active shooter. I've been regurgitating this the last couple of weeks because I actually think it's important and relevant, and I know not everyone gets to see this video every week, so I want to be sure I catch as many people as I can. The run, hide, flight philosophy is actually valid. Also remember, there is a difference between cover and concealment. I can hide behind a blanket and technically I'm concealed, but that is not cover. If I hide behind clear plexiglass that's 2, 3, 4 inches thick, I have cover, but I'm not really concealed. You can see me, but you can't hurt me because that thing is in the way. Understanding the difference, understanding where to run, knowing your exits wherever you go, whether it's a concert or to Walmart, is very important. And teach your adult children this, teach your teenagers, teach even the older kids. No fire drills. The fire drill exits are just as good for mass shooters, so remember that. A few more as we get into the holidays, travel tips, a few new ones. Plan alternative travel, means of travel. In other words, if you're flying from, Houston to Denver to visit a friend, know where the rental car places are. If something pops off and you can't get a flight, know how to get a rental car quick, because everyone's going to do the same thing. Get that damn rental car and get on the road. And maybe if you have somebody else needs to go to the same direction, you can split the cost. Remember, get creative when there's an emergency. Let others you trust know what your plans are. Schedule reputable people. Don't get, podunk airlines and, danger and so on. Well, you get the drill. Also, when you're on the trip, dress to match the locals. Now, obviously, if you're going to dinner, you're going to a special event, you're going to dress up nice. But when you're out and about, don't stand out. Don't wear a bunch of jewelry. Look like the person that might mug someone because you're poor or you're ugly or you're angry. Don't look like the person that should be mugged. Okay, that sounds kind of awful, but you guys get what I'm saying. Use local currency if you're in another country. At a minimum, have a flashlight for your EDC. A lot of places don't allow you to have other stuff. A flashlight can pretty much go anywhere. Keep a physical map with your carry-on or even in your pocket. So in the event power goes out, you can look at the map and use it. By the way, if you're using a map, don't stand in the middle of the street looking at it. You look like a tourist. Okay, today's quote. In times of great stress or adversity, it's always best to keep busy, to plow your anger and your energy into something positive. That is our favorite sport guy, Lee Iacocca. Absolutely good advice. A lot of people are expressing stress, sadness, depression during this time of year, which is the holidays, which often creates depression because of lost family members, etc., etc. Staying focused, staying on a schedule, staying disciplined not letting yourself just go into the little black hole of thought can help. Now, I know it's easier said than done. I've been there myself when I've lost people in my life. But I've found, even whether it was a loss in the family or, getting laid off, being able to get up at a consistent time, maintain a routine, is good both for your lifestyle and your mental health. And also, if you need help, find some help at a local hotline. Speaking of hotlines, as I mentioned again, thousands of minors are trafficked weekly. Be aware of the signs of abuse of children. Again, we're seeing too much of that. And as criminals become emboldened because we're not kicking the crap out of them for abusing or mischievousness, they're going to continue to victimize those weaker than them. Contrary to what you hear in the news, they will get victimized. Understand and recognize the symptoms and the signs of abuse, trafficking, neglect, and if you can, call someone to help. If nothing else, if a kid's family's going through a divorce, just being the adult who they can talk to. And I've had to do this with my kids' friends. Divorces were occurring, and the kids didn't want to be in the environment. I wound up with multiple stupid teenagers sleeping in my living room and eating pizza 3 days a week because I didn't know what to do with them. But at least I knew they were safe, they were warm, and they had food. And they had someone to talk to. Be that person if you can. I know it's tough. Everyone's got a lot going on. But I promise you, I believe there's a dividend on the other end of our lives for doing right by those in need as best you can. So don't forget that. And as always, I'll do my little pitch. If you happen to be buying any of the products I support, you can go to my link in my bio on the various platforms, and it shows all my affiliations on one big link instead of you fishing through 27. I do need to clean that up. That includes ReadyWise, ETA Living. Many of you saw that I'm now working with Mirror Safety. Because the mask really impressed me. The fact that it sealed over my beard actually was interesting. I'll make a video about how I pull that off. Also, Wallaby Goods, Wallaby Mylar bags and products. But remember, make sure it fits your budget. If it doesn't make sense to your budget and it does not make sense to your life, then don't get it. Again, I want to shout out my friends at 1791. I'm actually using that exact concealed carry holster you see in the lower right. The reason I like that, and it's ugly as sin, I'll make a video on that, is because I can put it on my left or my right and I can reverse it, because when I'm driving it's kind of hard to draw from my strong side, but I can cross draw from a seated position. You guys think about that, you'll understand what I'm saying. I do like the fact that they have a variety of holsters at a variety of price points, so they kind of seem to understand that times are tight. Go check them out, and I do have a link for this nonsense as well. But again, it may not be for you. If you look and you're like, this isn't going to work, don't buy it. That's okay. Find what works for you. I just happen to like these guys, but still, that's me, and I have a weird career, and I'm always in a damn truck if you hadn't figured it out. But I would like to thank them for their support. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this week's summary of news and headlines from around the globe. And again, my apologies for the rant about Zuckerberg and all the idiots, and Mr. I want you to eat cucarachas because he can bite me. That pendejo I have no use for. Folks, stay on budget, stay on routine, stay on your schedule. It's important to maintain some semblance of order in order for your physical, mental, and emotional well-being to be kept, I guess, between the buoys. I really don't know how to say it. A lot of the people I saw when a bunch of us got laid off in 2015, when the energy market tanked, when they stopped with their schedule, maintaining discipline, they fell apart. And then other things happen, health, emotional, the whole 9 yards. I know it's easier said than done. Write a schedule if that helps. And if nothing else, reach out to someone. If you don't know how to schedule, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to help you out. I'll keep giving you the conflict updates as I have been. I'm waiting for the new State Department reports and the corporate reports, so I'll send those out. I try to keep them realistic, not fearmonger, but inform you of things that could affect us through the food chain or supply chain. In any case, you guys be safe, God bless, Godspeed, and I will see you all on the next video. Take care.